Good evening, December 8th, 2021. Let's take a look at Bitcoin here. So first thing I want to do is just clean up some of the possibilities that are off the table now. The main one being that this was our 1-2 here, followed by a micro 1-2. That's now off the table. As I said last night, this red line here at 49.8 was the deciding factor in whether or not that was going to play out. Obviously we saw that break down right there, so that is gone. So let's get rid of that and clean this up in the process. And I'm also going to go ahead and get rid of all these boxes, and I think I'll get rid of all the fibs as well. Alright, let's get rid of this blue fib, let's get rid of this orange fib. Okay, we can get rid of that red line. Alright, so we are now in this situation where we potentially are in this diagonal here. That involved this being ABC up in 1, ABC down in 2, some sort of ABC up in 3 here, ABC down in 4, and now we should be seeing an ABC up in 5 potentially, although it coming all the way back down to this trend line doesn't inspire confidence, but it is still possible that we get that ABC up for that fifth wave within this. It is also possible that this is simply ABC up here, and now we're beginning the next leg down, which may be an ABC down, or it may be, you know, the next leg down actually into the 30K region. That remains to be seen. So that's a possibility. And then I want to look at another possibility for an impulse in which this is still 1 and 2, but it's an impulsive 1 and 2. And I noted this earlier today in the Discord group. You know, if we have that, and then this is micro 1 and 2 here, would have expected this to continue a little stronger than what it's done here, but for now I suppose it is still a possibility. Let me change this one to yellow because that's kind of become primary for now. And let me just describe what this might look like if it plays out. I don't view this as a super high probability, to be honest, because this action really looks more like ABCs more than an impulse, but this would be 1, 2, 3 would need to go somewhere in this region here, 4 come down in that region, and 5 up like this. I'm gonna make this larger. So that would be that. Let me make this red as sort of a secondary possibility here. Like so, and then we would actually have within that micro 1, 2 here. And pretty much in all cases, it must stay above this level here, that low that we struck overnight at 48.6 or so. Below that pretty much demolishes all chances of an immediate bullish resolution. But if we remain above it, it is possible that we see this then. This would do something like this within the third, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, something like this. And let me make this smaller. Okay. So that's kind of the situation that we find ourselves in now. If we can get move off of these lows, we've got two possible ways that it plays out. Number one is it plays out like an impulse and breaks out through this region right here. If it does that, that's in this red count, the one that I said is not really a high probability. But if it can do that and get up into the 58 to 59K area, then I'll have to look at that as the primary, even though I don't really think it seems too likely right now, but I just wanted to point it out as an option. The other possibility, as long as we remain above this low here, and ideally we remain above the channel line, is it continues upwards in an ABC fashion up to this wave 5. That would be a possibility as well, and then we'll have to see from there. We'll probably see a breakdown. So if we get up to this region and then break down, this would be a leading diagonal 1 and potential 2 here, which may be a decent buying opportunity before we go up again. But leading diagonals like this are not super reliable, so even if we get that 5th wave, it should require a little bit of caution, basically, just because leading diagonals are not super reliable indicators. And then, of course, the third possibility, which at the moment looks like is very possible, is that this here, we had ABC up, and now we're getting ABC down. So if we count this as our A wave down, that's our B wave. We should be then moving into the C wave, which means we'll break below this low, and we should be going somewhere into this region right here. And it would be unlikely to get, in that higher region. I think most likely it'll come down into the lower region here, if it even wants to be an ABC down. But that's sort of preliminary support there. If it breaks down through this channel, this is our preliminary support. And that, like I said, is not going to be necessarily an immediately bullish resolution unless we get then another ABC up. So that would look like this: ABC down, and then if we got ABC up from there, we would then see, this is getting quite convoluted. This would be ABC, this would be our first wave, this would be our second wave, ABC up in a third. So we could in fact make a larger diagonal by doing that. But I'm really kind of cautious. If it goes below this low, I would be very, very, very cautious. I'd want to see some proof that this support box is going to hold and not just crash through. Because if we continue crashing down lower, we can start going in the situation where we have 5 waves down then, and this would be the first wave in another leg down, and we'd have this, and then we'd crash down like that. So that's kind of what we need to look out for if we do break down this channel. So I think, I just went through a whole bunch of scenarios there, and it's because this action just is not clean. So it's not what we were hoping for sure. It doesn't really look like that V-shaped recovery unless we can maybe break up through here and get, all the way up into this 58, 59K region relatively soon. It's looking like we're going to be dealing with sideways chop and consolidation at the, in the best case scenario, a larger diagonal or sideways. But we do need to be careful of this breakdown. So if you want to be extra careful, it really should not go below the 1236 here at 47.2. So that's kind of the new line in the sand. Personally, I'm going to stop out if it goes below that low of leverage positions. I bought some leverage positions down here when we, right after that initial dump I bought. And so I'll stop out in slight profit if we drop below that low, just because it'll be getting a little bit too choppy for my liking at that point in time. But if you wanted to set a lower stop, I would say below that 1236. So you wouldn't necessarily want to put it right there, but just slightly below it, maybe below the 1382. Because if we go down that low, it's likely we're getting 5 waves down then. That's not going to be a good sign. And that'll be the first indication. If we break that low, that's the first indication that we may in fact see those 30K lows that none of us want to go to. So, all right. I think that pretty much sums it up. I feel like I need to apologize for how crappy this action is, that we have so many different scenarios to try to track here, but hopefully we'll have more answers in the coming day or two here, as one of these scenarios hopefully takes takes the front, becomes the front runner. So, all right, that's all I've got for tonight. So definitely watch, dropping below that low, I'd be very cautious with. Dropping below 46.6, I'd be really, really cautious with. And other than that, we'll be watching to see if that channel holds, and if it does, what exactly we get up off the lows from there. All right, good night, everybody, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.